Well, hello friends. Today I wanted to give you a little quick tip on tree spiking. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back friends. Gonna spike our trees today out in the orchard, and I just thought I'd give you a quick tip on what I'm gonna do and pass that on to you, because I think it's kind of an important thing that we need to do when our trees go dormant for the fall and winter. And it should be a reminder of you that that's something that you need to do. Spiking a tree is really a simple process, and it's really nothing more than putting in a tree spike that's going to give you a slow release fertilizer of a 9-12-12 fertilizer, 9% nitrogen, 12% phosphate, and 12% soluble potash. And it comes in a little spike that you hammer into the ground at the drip line of your tree, a couple inches under the surface. And I drew a little diagram here that I'm going to show you how to do that. But first I wanted to show you what the spikes look like that I use. I use Job's. It's an organic fertilizer. Let me open it up and show you what they look like. There we go. It's just a hard packed little hunk of fertilizer in the shape of kind of like a nail. And that's what we're going to do. You got a sharp end on it and you got a blunt end on it, and that's supposed to be the hammer end. Okay, so you push it under the surface of the soil, and that is going to get wet, and it's going to slowly release all that fertilizer into your root system, directly into your root system. And this should be done about twice a year. Should be done in the late fall, which it is late fall here in Florida for me. This is December the 26th. So I'm going to go ahead and spike my trees, and I got small trees, so I'm only going to use one. And if you look on the directions of the box, when you buy some of these, it'll tell you how many, it gives you a chart of how many spikes that you should do, that you should put in, and it depends on the caliper of your tree. So if you go up a foot above the ground level and measure the diameter of that trunk a foot above the ground level, that's your caliper. Mine are about 1.5 inches, so I'm only going to be using one of these. The larger they get, the more you got to put in. You got to put them evenly spaced in a circle around the tree on the drip line. So come on up here close. Let me take a look at this diagram and then show you what I'm going to do, and then we'll head on out to the garden and to the orchard, and we'll put some in. Well, here's an up-close view of the spike itself. I just wanted to show you a close-up view. This is the pointy end I was talking about. See how it's tapered off into the shape of kind of a nail? And this is the blunt end. See how it's flattened off on the top? That's the hammer end. So this is the top, and this is the bottom. This is where you insert it into the ground and you drive it on in, you know, down into the soil. That's the spike itself. Okay. Now, here's the diagram I was talking about that I drew up real quick. Really nothing to it. A lot of people are doing this for the first time, so this is a very basic instruction. I wanted to explain to you what a drip line is. If you look at your tree, you come out to the furthest most edge of your tree and imagine the rain hitting this thing and the rain dripping. The maximum that it would drip around the bottom of the tree would be at the end of the branches. So come out here to your maximum diameter of your branches and think of an imaginary line coming down to the ground. That's your drip line on both sides. There's your drip line of your tree. Now, when I was talking about a caliper, of how to measure your caliper, come up 12 inches from the ground level, right? 12 inches up. Here's a line right here. The diameter of this tree right here on my trees is 1.5 inches, so that's a 1.5 inch caliper tree. That's a pretty good sized tree. But if you look at the instructions on the box that when you buy your tree spikes, it says for 1.5 inch, you only need to put in 1 spike, okay? So I come out here to the drip line and I come down to the ground and I hammer in my, my spike right there. What you do is you push that spike into the ground and then you push it down a couple of inches below the surface of the ground, right there. That would be the final position of that spike. 2 inches below, right? Now when that gets wet, it can release that fertilizer and these root systems will get to it and it'll feed this tree. This is slow release fertilizer. So it'll do it for months. And if you do this in the late fall and the early spring, you shouldn't have to do it again the whole year. It should last the entire year. Plenty of fertilizer for that tree. So when I go out there, I like to take me a 2x2. It's only a couple of feet long, see? And I bevel off one end where it's sharp. See, I do that on my miter saw. So I bevel off one end so that I can use the hammer end here, and I'll hammer this wooden stake into the ground right here where we were talking about. I'll hammer that in, you know, a little bit about the depth of the spike, see? I'll put it in about that deep. So I'll put me a mark on here so I'll know about how deep it is. Oh, about right there, see? Now I know how deep to put that. If I can get that hammered into the ground that deep, it puts a good hole in there, just about the right size for the spike, because I hate hammering on this. They come with a little plastic cap that you can put on the end of them and hammer, and then when you get it down in the ground, you pull off the plastic cap. But I don't like to beat on the things, to tell you the truth. I just don't want to break them. So what I do is I hammer this into the ground, then I drop this in, then I collapse the hole around it and pack it in, and I'll take another 2x2 that's just a blunt squared off end, see, on both ends, and I can put that into the ground and I can hit that blunt end on there and just tap it down just a little bit more until I got it down where I want it, and then I can cover it in completely. So that's how I do it. 2 little pieces of tool that I use. I use a 2-pound hammer when I'm doing this work, so I don't have to really hit it real hard. I just tap, pop, 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 you know, and it'll put it right on in there in a perfect position. So let's take our tree spikes, our hammer, and our stakes, and let's go out to the orchard, and I'm gonna spike the trees and let's get them started so they can feed all winter. And that way in the spring, when they start to flush out and come out with some new growth, they've been growing a beautiful root system the whole year. While you were thinking they were dormant and doing nothing, they were actually growing roots under here and establishing a really good root system which feeds the tree. So that's what we want. Get a good root system, you'll have a good fruit production and good leaves, a healthy tree overall. So let's go get started. Well, here we are out into the orchard. Here's our little peach tree, and as you can see, I hope you can see it, the tree's trunk is here and all the limbs, and there ain't nary a stitch of leaf on here. They've all went dormant and fell off. So the tree just looks like a skeleton right here. It's totally ready for winter. So what I'm gonna do is I take a look at this and I get an average of where that drip line would be, and that drip line comes right down through here and it lands right at the edge of this circle of the pit that I made for the hole when I put in the tree. So it's right in here, okay? So let's get the stakes and let's drive us a hole and put in our spike. Okay, got my pointy end. I come right to the point we were just looking at. Got me a nice hole in there. There's the mark that I made, and there's how deep I got it, so that should be just right. I take the spike, pointy end down, dropped it right in the hole. Take my other one, tap it in there just a little bit, then I collapse it in. See how I collapse the sides of the hole? I collapse all around it. That tree has been spiked. Well, thank you for watching today as we spiked our little peach tree. Hope you learned a little bit on how to do your tree spiking for your own orchard at your own homestead. So we really appreciate you watching. If you like our channel, please subscribe, be a part of our homestead family. So until me and Nancy see you next time, always remember, by his hands we are fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Amen.
Have a blessed day. Thank you for watching our videos. We love making them. If you like our videos, we ask you to partner with us in our mission by sharing our videos from YouTube and post from Facebook to all social medias. It really inspires and encourages us. Some great places to share is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please like if you like this video, subscribe, click the notification button so you never miss another video. Click below for products we used in the videos, and you could also partner with us without spending a penny. We welcome your encouraging comments, prayers, and questions. And thank you for watching and sharing our videos and posts. Have a blessed day.